I think that is one area where we need to get into and build on that so that it gives substantial business. These schemes are not really profitable businesses.
Yeah, yeah.
So you spoke about profitability. These
Profitability.
are not profit. Like in Jeevan Jyoti, I know most insurance companies have booked heavy losses in the first year.
Yes.
But given the fact that it is just the first year,
And you'll have to give it that.
one has to see how it pans out in the future, how much of renewals happen, because these are yearly premiums.
Yeah.
So depending on that and how we encash it, the profitability part would be addressed. It depends on the insurance industry to encash this line of thinking, this awareness that has been
Yes,
created.
yes, yes.
So
No,
one, the population,
mm,
reaching out to the population. Second, the profitability angle.
mhm.
And the third thing is pension, something has been, that is a crying need. You know, when I was in service, I used to think some pension, those days I think we were calculating at, those were not, it was the this settlement days. And pension was then thought to be about 20-30,000.
Mhm.
And I was very comfortable. I used to tell my wife, look, I'll get 20-25,000 rupees per month. And my savings would give me another, say, 10-15,000 a month. So 40-50,000 enough for a normal
Normal lifestyle.
thing. Today, the pensions of some categories of people are in terms of 10 to 12 lakhs in a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lakh a month.
But
roughly.
that is, of course, a very, very select group. But then, by and large, people are much more aware. The group which is now in the software sector, in various other emerging sectors of the industry, the younger groups, they are far more aware, far more savvy on this front. So that enabling legislation, I think, and enabling actions by the insurance sector would really build up the third leg
Got it.
of what can be done to make it a vibrant life insurance sector.
Got it. Got
Thank
it.
you.
Right, thanks. Krishna, just going back to GI. Now, we are hearing some, advents of new types of products, be it at a mass level or be it at a individual level, be it in terms of term insurance or be it in Atal Bihari Vajpayee pension scheme stuff. What is your take on these growth engines in the GI space? Are you seeing something open up in that area which are totally new and which have a huge, vast potential in front of us, be it in terms of premium or in terms of the need that is to be addressed?
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. Roy here, um, um, where he was talking about insurance and pension. I have also, when I joined in my job, maybe I was around 23 and a half. And the first thing I also did was take a small life insurance policy. And and I was also far-sighted enough to take a pension policy, which is, I can proudly say, which is giving me around 2,300 rupees pension per month from my 50th year onwards. So it might appear to be a very small, minuscule,
Life insurance.
minuscule amount, but at that time my company did not have a pension program for the employees. And there was only our PF and the company's contribution, which was a matching amount to the Provident Fund. Then at that time I decided that maybe I should have something by way of pension. So I took my pension policy at that time, according to my affordability. I took a pension policy when somewhere I was around 25, 26. I thought that was pretty far-sighted. Then in '93, when our company introduced the pension program, at that time I was 31 and I opted for a pension, for the pension. There was an option; it was not compulsory. You could either take the pension or you could take the PF. And many of my colleagues, they abused me. They said, you're 31, how can you think in terms of pension and retirement? And today they are the same people who are requesting the company and the government of India to give a second option, to give a third option to opt for pension. So beyond this, I will not talk about pension because that is the domain of my friends from life. But yes, the government of India initiatives which have taken off last year, the Jan Dhan Yojana, the Prime Minister's Suraksha Bima Yojana for personal accident, for the life side also, all these things have really, they are just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot of opportunity to be tapped here. I'll just give you an example. For example, United India, how we can reach out through bank assurance partners. This PMSBY, which we call the Prime Minister Suraksha Bima Yojana, which gives a coverage of 2 lakhs personal accident at a very nominal premium of 12 rupees per year. So
Huge adverse claims ratio.
with a huge but as you have already said, this adverse claims ratio is only the first year. The key would be to recruit more. We have to keep on increasing the numbers, and the volumes will cover the losses. That is my belief. For example, United India, how this has worked. United India has got a tie-up, a bank assurance tie-up with Andhra Bank. And we are selling a health product called Arogyadan through Andhra Bank. And we were able to reach around 30,000 customers of the bank. Now today, every bank customer, Andhra Bank customer, knows that buying a health policy, a Mediclaim policy through Andhra Bank with United India is going to be cheaper than buying it individually outside. So cost will come down because of it being a group policy. For United India, the advantage is that we are going to reach quite a wide audience. So maybe this is one of the ways. There are so many distribution channels. One of the ways is to get a piggyback ride on bank assurance, which will give you the reach. Similarly, banks also are having some benefit because they are able to sell products over the counter, maybe a simplified. You were talking about simplicity, I think,
Yes.
Mr.
Shardha was
Yeah. So the simplest product is your personal accident policy or your motor policy, which we are able to sell through these channels. So definitely I would support. And now this year we are hearing some more things. For example, there has always been some sort of a crop insurance in a very small way, which was exclusively administered by Agricultural Insurance Corporation of India. 2 years back, when I was in Hyderabad, I was working in Hyderabad in a marketing position. We got the opportunity to do crop insurance as franchisees of AIC of India. So AIC did not have the reach to really go out and do the business where the farmer himself was paying the premium.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
they were getting the premium directly from the respective state governments, and they were paying very limited claims on very limited types of crops.
Okay.
Now we could as having a greater reach than AIC of India, we could we could take this policy right to the farmer, right to the village level, and we were getting a share, a co-insurance share on the business we have collected on behalf of AIC. Now today, I've been reading or hearing about the Prime Minister's Fasal Bima Yojana, where the insurance companies, we are asking the government of India that you give us a chance. We want to take this forward. We want to make this a success. We want to participate in this program. So I think when the government of India or when a particular state government is being innovative enough or advanced enough in its thinking to take insurance to the lower economic levels or to the rural levels, then we should, as insurers, we should jump at the chance to grab it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And on that positive note, Arnab is standing right here. I'm not sure if you've overrun time too much. Can we have a couple of questions? Yeah. We can. Okay, good. So the floor is open in case you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions. I see one hand at the back. Can we pass a mic there, please?
Professor from groups in school. Professor from groups in school. You can expect the questions.
Distinguished panelists, maybe we have had a lot of information from you, but then at the same time, don't you feel that as Mr. Roy was saying about his personal experience, don't you feel that still the success of the big players in the industry, in the insurance industry, is mainly driven towards the relationship marketing that they have maintained, especially LIC and the other government organizations? Now, don't you feel that labor turnover happens to be a real life problem for the private insurance companies? Because we feel, we find that in a government company, the agent has been a long agent for 30 years, 40 years, or maybe even when they are taking young, still they have a motivation to carry through as their career. But so far as the people coming from the private insurance companies are concerned, don't you feel that their jobs are too much insecure, which is why maybe their credibility front is being tarnished? So would you like to say something about that?
Are you addressing the question to anyone in particular, or?
No, maybe to the panelists, to the entire panelists.
See, one is just a clarification. An agent is not an employee. That is the basic clarification, because you said job is insecure or job is threatened. An agent is an agent. There could be a level of employees handling the agents, but productivity wise, an agent continues as long as his productivity is good enough. Normally we used to say that the agent's project productivity is measured by in his initial stages, by his own area of influence. Then it gradually spreads beyond that. The second point is on relationship marketing, which you said. Insurance is a business of trust, entirely of trust. I think it was your question in the earlier session that people look at the online this thing for comparing, or someone, some other person asked. I'm not too sure who, but that people look at the online thing but actually buy manually. That is an indication of insurance being a purely trust related business, and trust comes from relationships. In private insurance companies, so far trust has been building up, but it cannot compare itself with, say, like a public sector bank's trust with its customers, which has been in existence for a long time, and it provides banking services, loans. In addition, now insurance is added, general insurance is added. So relationship banking would take a little time for the private non-public sectors. But agents, I think the productivity of the agents determines their success. It is not related to the insecurity or anything. If he doesn't perform, he himself drops out.
Maybe on this front,
Which front?
I'd like to say that from this front,
Which front?
private insurance companies, they have not done anything, or maybe they are staying very cold there, so that employee retention tends to be there.
Employee, again, the conflict I think in your mind is on agency, agent and employee. Agent is not an employee. I think we have to first set it. So,
They are employees.
who?
In their case, in the case of a private insurance company, majorly they are employees.
No,
No, no,
no, no, no.
no, no.
Agents are completely different.
They are completely on variable.
They are agents and agents and agents. They are not employees, neither in public nor in private. They are managed by another layer, which is a very small layer, who are employees. They are called sometimes we call it unit,
Unit
managers,
managers or
sometimes we
sales managers.
different names we give, sales managers, but that is a very small group. For example, you may have 5 lakh agents, but the employees could be 10,000 or even less. So they are not employees. Agent's productivity determines his shelf life.
We have another question.
Okay, so right from the morning, sir, and this is to the panelists. One thing that we are listening to is the digitalization that is going to happen. And so this is one question, and this is Krishna sir. It's not about 40 kilometers. If you are, I stay in a place called Kosba, and the moment I enter in my home with my phone, there is a strong tendency that I don't get any services. So the entire digitization is going to be heavily dependent on the spectrum, what Khalid was talking about. So, that is one concern that I see from a perspective of the service providers, how they are going to support us in providing the service. So, the entire digitization dependency is going to be on spectrum. So how we are going to address that? That's my first question. And the second question is to Mr. Roy. Because you have been in the shoes of a banker, and then you entered into into the manufacturer side in the form of SBI Life, insurance manufacturer, and now this open architecture, and a company like us is actually talking about disruption in the market, and we are awaiting how these PSUs are going to undertake or how they are actually behaving towards this open architecture. So will it be taken in the right direction, or the PSUs are going to be still conservative in terms of taking us into the partnership and actually helping this insurance penetration to go up? So that is.
You use the word right direction. Your right or my right?
So, Mr. Rai, so not being politically correct, and I will ask the press guys to.
Your right and my right is what sometimes the difference.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
No, it's something which banks are taking up. See, the important issue is, in banks, who does the selling? In the banks, who does the selling? The employee of the bank. That is the direct bank assurance. The other side is where an employee of the insurance company does the selling sitting in a bank branch, which is gradually going away because of cost constraints. A bank employee selling it is, one, better and more acceptable to the customer. Second, is more acceptable to the bank because the commission comes directly. So, if a bank employee who has been recruited to sell drafts and lockers is taught about insurance and he sells insurance, how much more effort of the bank has to go into making that same person learn about 3 insurance companies' different products and then push it across to the customer. Basically, his mindset is of a banker. He sells a draft and a bank product a customer comes to take. It's a bought product. Insurance is a sold product. So giving this differentiation and keeping in mind this differentiation, banks have a problem. But it is not that banks are averse to it, because see, how much of premium does, or how much of commission does a bank earn if I sell one letter of credit for $1 million and if I sell a policy of $1 million equivalent? What is the net income to the bank? If you look at it, the effort per sale is much, much lower in case of an non-banking sale. Let's not say insurance, because there are agents who sell insurance, mutual funds, many other products, cross-selling, which comes under the umbrella of cross-selling. cross-sold products, income is very low. It is, the basic purpose is my customer comes, instead of letting him go to another provider for insurance or any other third-party product, I try and provide the product. That's the purpose. It's not to earn income, because the income from the banking services is much higher. So if you look at it in a wholesome way, I think this open architecture that in certain areas you can have a second company is good. And I think over a period of time, mindset would also change. I remember one noting when I had been first posted, noting in SBI files on SBI Life's efforts then, I'm talking of 2005-06, to make an employee of the bank sell an insurance product. That then one of the managing directors had put a noting, then SBI Life should pay the salaries of these employees. That was the mindset. From there, we have come to a stage where almost every bank employee is selling some insurance. So it's a mindset change. Open architecture would also need some amount of, now regulatory pressure is there, regulatory enablement is there. So I'm sure it will work out, but it will take time. And it will again depend on whether it is Future Generali or Bajaj Allianz or United India. United India is better placed because United India is a public sector thing. Like your right and my right are the same.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. One more? That's it? Okay, cool.
I think lunch is late. Yeah, lunch is over. Even the audience is skeptical about asking questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mittal. I would request my colleague Tanya to hand it over our memento to Sir Mr. U.S. Roy. I would request Mr. Mittal if you could kindly hand over the memento to Sir on behalf of us. Yeah, two. And to Mr. Khalid Ahmad, Mr. Parthonil Ghosh, and Mr. KVR Krishna. Thank you all. I'd request all the speakers to join us at the boardroom, and the lunch will be started after this. Thank you, everyone.